The diplomatic vessel Aurelia floated in the void like a lone sentinel, its steel frame gleaming against a sea of distant stars. Inside the command deck, silence reigned. Every officer knew this day could alter humanity's place in the galaxy forever. For months, they had prepared for a historic meeting with the Karen royal family, a species spoken of with awe and suspicion in equal measure. Captain Dawn stood at the viewport, his hands clasped tightly behind his back. His weathered features bore the calm of a man who had survived too many near wars and too many fragile truces. Yet beneath that calm flickered unease. The Karens were famed for punctuality, yet the appointed hour had long passed. Then, alarms shrieked. Lieutenant Wells snapped her head up from the console. "Captain, multiple ships incoming. One large flagship, escorted by 4 armed vessels." The bridge tensed. This was no ceremonial entrance. The alien ships emerged from the darkness, their hulls glowing with a strange oceanic shimmer. But the flagship wavered in its path, drifting unsteadily as though drunk on invisible currents. Its once proud silhouette now bore jagged scars of battle or failure. "Status," Dawn demanded. Sensors flickered with erratic readings. Chief Hope, the engineer, frowned. "Their reactor core is unstable, Captain. That ship is dying." Before the crew could react, a harsh, distorted voice burst through the comms. "Human vessel Aurelia, this is Commander Salatine of the royal ship Luminara. We request immediate assistance." Then, silence. The transmission cut, leaving only the low hum of Aurelia's engines and the heavy beating of hearts. The crew exchanged wary glances. A trap? Or a plea? The captain's jaw tightened. "Prepare medical teams. And engineering, stand by. If they need help, we'll give it. But keep defenses primed." Moments later, docking protocols engaged. From the alien airlock emerged the Karen delegation, their tall, blue-skinned forms shadowed by armed guards. At their center strode Commander Sailor, regal even in exhaustion. Her voice carried both command and desperation. "Our systems are collapsing. My daughter, the princess, is aboard, gravely injured. Without help, she will not survive the hour." The bridge fell silent. Humanity's first royal contact had already become a matter of life and death. The docking tube groaned as it sealed against the alien hull, trembling under the strain of failing systems. Chief Engineer Leon Hope led the rescue team forward, her boots clanging on metal that vibrated as if alive with panic. Behind her, Raphael Grayson, the ship's pilot, muttered through his helmet. "Feels like we're walking into a furnace built by Picasso." His humor was thin, but it kept dread at bay. The airlock opened with a hiss. Heat slammed into them like a living beast. Their suit sensors screamed warnings as they stepped into a corridor warped by fire and stress. Elegant, curving walls once glowing with bioluminescent panels now flickered erratically, half dead. Gravity faltered. Tools and dust floated briefly before crashing back down. Alien officers rushed to guide them through, their blue skin glistening with sweat, their eyes dark with fear. "This way," urged Nelith, a Karen technician, her voice trembling but resolute. "The reactor feeds every system. If it collapses, none of us leave alive." They forced open sealed doors, stumbled past collapsed beams, and skirted sparking conduits. The deeper they went, the hotter the air became, pressing against their suits like molten hands. Raphael wiped condensation from his visor and grinned shakily. "Remind me why we didn't just stay home and mine asteroids." No one answered. At last, they reached an evacuation chamber, meant to shelter non-essential personnel. Instead, it was a tomb of silence. In the center lay a pod, its protective shielding cracked. Inside rested a frail figure, her skin pale as frost, her chest barely rising. Nelith dropped to her knees. "Princess Arisa," her voice cracked. The crew froze. Dr. Mira Oster pushed forward, scanner in hand. "She's in critical shutdown. Heatstroke, oxygen starvation, cardiovascular failure, her body's collapsing." She slammed her kit down, pulling tools one after another, only for each to fail under interference from the unstable magnetic fields. Leon leaned in, searching for a manual pulse. Her gloved fingers couldn't detect a thing. In a split-second choice, she tugged off one glove to press her skin directly to the princess's throat. The effect was instant. Arisa convulsed, her eyes snapping open with a gasp so sharp it echoed like thunder in the chamber. Her pale body flushed with radiant blue light, pulsing outward like ripples on water. The Keren guards recoiled, stunned. One whispered in disbelief, "The legend, it's real." For a heartbeat, no one moved. The chamber glowed with the princess's renewed luminescence, the once sickly pallor replaced by a shimmering blue radiance. Princess Arisa blinked rapidly, her gaze fixing on Leon with something between fear and reverence. Her lips parted. "Warmth, you awaken the cold blood." Dr. Oster's scanner went wild, alarms chirping in disbelief. Her vitals are climbing, heart rate normal, oxygen levels stabilizing. This shouldn't be possible. The alien guards exchanged rapid words in their own tongue, their tones sharp, almost hostile. One stepped forward, hand hovering near his weapon. What did you do to her?" Leon, still kneeling beside Arisa, raised her trembling hand. "I didn't do anything. I just touched her." "That's impossible," Nelith whispered, her skin glowing faintly with agitation. Then her expression shifted from shock to recognition. "Unless, the prophecy." The words hung heavy in the heated air. Captain Dawn's voice crackled over comms. "Hope. Report. Reactor status." Leon tore her eyes from the princess. "Critical, Captain. We need to reach the control chamber now. She's alive, but this ship won't be for long." As they prepared to move, Raphael leaned closer to Leon, muttering just loud enough for her to hear. "You touch a princess, she glows like a glow stick, and now the armed aliens look like they'd love to dissect us. Nice job, Chief." His grin was weak, but it masked the terror building in his chest. They advanced deeper. The corridor twisted, beams sagging from the unbearable heat. Alarms howled, counting down in alien script. 27 minutes until reactor collapse. Then came a sound no one expected, a metallic clatter behind them. One of the alien guards had dropped a device, its red lights blinking rapidly. Leon's stomach lurched. "That's no tool. That's a disruptor charge." The nearest guard lunged for the device, too slow. It detonated in a burst of static, not enough to harm them but enough to cripple their comms. Their radios screeched and died, cutting them off from the Aurelia. Suspicion ignited instantly. Nelith spun toward the armed escort, her voice trembling. "Who sabotaged us? Who wants her dead?" Princess Arisa, still weak but conscious, whispered hoarsely, "The betrayal is not new. Someone among us wants the royal line ended." The reactor rumbled again, a deep groan that shook the deck. They were running out of time, and now, they weren't sure who was ally or enemy. The ship shuddered violently, a groan echoing through the bulkheads like the death cry of a wounded beast. Emergency lights flickered red, bathing the corridor in pulses of warning. Chief Hope steadied herself against the wall, her helmet display flashing. Core stability, critical. 20 minutes remaining. "Move!" Leon barked, forcing the team forward. Every second mattered. Yet the unspoken truth pressed against them. Someone among the Kerens wanted the princess gone. At her side, Raphael dragged open a half-jammed hatch, gritting his teeth as sweat poured into his eyes. "You know," he panted, "when they told me I'd meet royalty, I didn't picture it happening inside a pressure cooker set to explode." His joke earned a grim smile from Leon, but the tension didn't lift. They reached the reactor access chamber, its reinforced doors warped from heat. Nelith activated the override panel, her trembling fingers dancing across alien symbols. The lock yielded with a shriek, releasing a blast of blistering air. The interior glowed hellish orange, molten light rippling off twisted metal. Inside, the reactor core pulsed like a furious star, containment fields flickering dangerously. Sparks cascaded from broken conduits. Even through their suits, the heat clawed at their skin. "Suit integrity, 20 minutes max," Dr. Oster warned. "After that, You'll cook alive. Leon and Raphael exchanged a look. No words, just silent understanding. They'd go in anyway. As they prepared to enter, a blur of motion broke the fragile unity. One of the alien guards, eyes cold, jaw tight, lunged at Arisa with a concealed blade. "Princess, down!" Leon shouted, shoving her aside. The strike scraped across Leon's arm, slicing through the outer layer of her suit. Pain seared, but adrenaline kept her upright. Raphael swung hard, tackling the traitor into the wall. The blade clattered across the deck. For a moment, chaos erupted, guards shouting, Nelith screaming, Arisa gasping for air. The traitor spat venomous words in his native tongue, then in broken English, "The royal blood must end, or all of us burn in Prophecy's chains." Before they could question him, he triggered a failsafe on his wrist. The panel on the reactor wall flared with new alarms, systems shutting down in cascading failure. Leon's chest tightened. Not sabotage from outside. Sabotage from within. The princess, clutching her side, whispered hoarsely, "If the reactor fails now, none of us survive." And with the countdown accelerating, the humans realized the impossible. To save both ships, they'd have to step into the heart of the inferno, knowing they might not come back. The maintenance bay roared like a furnace, its walkways glowing red as if the ship itself was melting. Leon and Raphael forced their way inside, heat alarms screaming in their helmets. Their suit timers ticked mercilessly, 18 minutes to failure. The reactor core throbbed at the chamber's center, a wounded star straining against collapsing containment fields. Metal buckled, sparks rained, and every breath tasted like fire. "Station Alpha, 20 meters to your right." Nelitha's voice crackled faintly through damaged comms. "Redirect coolant manually." "I'll take it," Leon shouted, staggering toward the valve. Raphael sprinted the opposite way, his silhouette distorted in the shimmering haze. Every second was agony. Leon's gloves slipped on overheated controls, her muscles burning as she strained against jammed mechanisms. Across the chamber, Raphael cursed, his laughter twisted with desperation. "Of all the ways to die, barbecue wasn't on my list." Then, success. Leon's valve groaned open. A rush of coolant hissed into dying conduits. Raphael, bleeding from a torn suit seam, forced his own valve free. Beater open. Pressure rising. The core's furious glow dimmed, stabilizing bit by bit. Hope flickered. But fate wasn't done. A containment vent ruptured, blasting superheated steam. Raphael shoved Leon clear, taking the full force across his back. He collapsed, smoke rising from blistered armor. "Rafe!" Leon dropped beside him, patching frantically. His voice rasped through static. "Did we save them?" Leon squeezed his hand, tears fogging her visor. "Yes, we did." Alarms fell silent. The reactor stabilized. For the first time in hours, the ship stopped trembling. When they staggered back to the evacuation sector, Princess Arisa rose unsteadily to meet them. Her glow had returned, brighter than ever. She knelt beside Raphael, her delicate hand hovering over his ruined armor. "Because of you, my people live. Because of you, I live." Then she turned to Leon, her voice trembling with awe. "And because of your touch, I was reborn." The legends spoke truth. The warm-blooded from the stars carry life within their hands. Captain Dawn's voice echoed as Aurelia's crew pulled them back aboard. History won't forget this day. Later, as the two ships drifted side by side, Leon stared at the stars. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and wonders. Yet in the end, it wasn't weapons or technology that had changed everything. It was a single, human touch.